Good morning. Happy Monday. We have a few things to talk about, a little quieter on the news cycle, but of course, it's Christmas. It's the holidays. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We have a lot of things to talk about. Number one, there are some things happening in the economy. They are not taking time off. We have a rally in crude oil. We have a rally in the stock market. We have a foreign company buying U.S. steel. That's very important to our hearts here. I'm up in Northwest Indiana. We are steel country. We are steel country. So someone bought U.S. Steel. Interesting play there. Also, talk of people buying farmland here in America from who are foreigner. But before we get into the headlines, we have to talk sports with none other than Connor B because he was really excited last week when the Bears had won a few games. What happened with the Bears game? Please do
I didn't
tell.
know you were going to bring this up. It was a complete heartbreaker, Tommy. Uh, Up big, then the Browns made a comeback, and then a Hail Mary and a guy bobbled it. It's pretty typical when you're a Bears fan to see that they get your hopes up and then crush them. But this one hurt. This one hurt.
Yeah. Also, I had to leave North Dakota. I spent some time in North Dakota, and after watching sports on Saturday, I was on the first flight out on Sunday. Vikings played Saturday, lost in overtime, typical Vikings. NDSU football was crushed by the Grizzlies on an amazing play. They went to double overtime. I know the NDSU fans are upset, but trust me, folks, you would have went down to Texas and you would have went to Frisco, and as South Dakota State was going to womp on you anyway. So hey, instead of talking about losing in sports, let's talk about winning in the markets as best we
Absolutely.
can. We heard a statistic, a phenomenal statistic that typically grains rally here between now and January. But I have to tell you, Connor, I also, from our friend PJ, who is also a uh, contributor on the show, PJ in the options bit, PJ was saying that again, corn volatility 52-week low. Digest some of those numbers on this powerful statistic that we tend to rally. That is true. What would a rally look like, Connor B, with volatility so low?
Yes, sir. Low volatility. And what was that? Correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy. That number 16 out of 16 years March futures rally
Yeah,
post
it's a very
December
powerful
report.
statistic. If I was a betting
Yeah.
man, I'd go with it. But it didn't say how much it rallies. That's the key there.
Right.
Like,
Right.
are the Bears going to win by 1 or are they going to win by 20? There's a big difference and that would help you to know when to get out, right?
Right, and that's where it plays into low volatility. Carry out isn't getting a whole lot smaller either. So if we're looking for a big rally, I don't know what a big rally constitutes, but we can see something. But I'm not hoping out for any type of monster rally. Here we go. We got a comment.
All right, Luke. Hey, Luke, you need to email us so we can send you a flag. We have a beautiful American flag. Luke's been very generous with the questions. You read it, my
Yes,
friend.
seems to be little reaction from the corn market to ethanol getting the green light for SAF, sustainable aviation fuel. Will there be more of a reaction when more genuine production of ethanol-based SAF begins?
You
Absolutely, Luke.
talked about this Friday. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, yeah. The main reason we didn't get a whole lot of reaction, Luke, is because they're not. They said they kind of gave it the green light, but they didn't actually say anything of note. Right? We don't even know what the SAF means. Are they going to include, what type of feedstocks they're going to include? We're going to get much more clarity on this in March, I believe, Tommy. Where there they'll put a pen to paper and tell us, yes, corn, soybeans are going to be included in that, or it's not going to be. So the trade hasn't reacted because it's kind of, we haven't seen anything of note yet. That's why.
To your point, Luke's point, and what I had learned in North Dakota with the crushing plant now open officially up there, is that we don't need to export as much grain. If we can grow grain and use it domestically, that's really a great thing for America and the American farmers. So if we do
Absolutely.
have a hiccup, if China does invade Taiwan, something else goes wrong in the world, we need to produce a lot of grain just here domestically for all these new projects coming on. That's really optimistic. And of course, the American farmer did a great job producing grain. Great question, Luke. Thank you.
Absolutely. So
Let's jump
let's,
into the meat of the show. You got a little something you want to show us, I understand.
yeah. Only thing I think you ran through steel stock
Yeah,
market on 7 week high. We'll talk about that later. Crude oil up 250 right now,
that's a big
Tommy.
one. Yeah, crude oil's
Right.
coming back, a little problem. There's all types of drones flying around, blowing up stuff. It's not a peaceful holiday season when you look at the world, and crude oil is a great indicator of is the world stable. We have January options expire on 12/22. We do, I believe, trade a full week. We're going to trade. We'll be open today, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
We are closed. Is it next Monday? And we open a hard open like in the pits on Tuesday, but there are no more pits. So I'll check those dates and get those mailed out to clients. We Crude oil's up. we're going to talk about the stock market tomorrow. We did have some interesting things happening in the stock market. I was asked by one of the TV shows to do a end of the year special on the most surprising things that happened this year, and I have three things in my mind that are extremely surprising. One, should I spoil it and tell you now? I mean, interest rates have collapsed. That's a big deal. Stock market's on the high. The world didn't end. It did for some people. It depends where you live. Where I live in Northwest Indiana, where I travel in North Dakota, where I travel in Iowa, things are real good. Connor B, I went to Shields in Grand Forks.
Yeah.
Line was so long, I just texted Gina a picture of what to order, and she ordered it online. And the economy in Grand Forks, North Dakota is on fire. Hey, speaking of Grand Forks, North Dakota, shout out to the lady basketball team. Mayville ladies basketball team defeated UND. First time in like 37 years. That was wonderful out there to watch the
Awesome.
ladies basketball. Sports up in North Dakota are a big deal because there's nothing else to do. So the region's wonderful about rallying around their teams all the way from grade school to the collegiate level. Brady Huck, great point there. Cattle on feed report this Friday. Feeder and feeder cattle up nicely this morning. Is it safe to say cattle are made the lows? I would say that the people who had to make the margin calls really made them. The people who had to liquidate really liquidated. We talked about this. I'm not predicting price, but yet in the sense that when the last person who has to sell sells, there's a lot of thin air. Brady Huck is correct. That market went up. I understand you're going to interview Brady later
Yep.
week and talk about cattle. We also
dive way more in that. Yep.
get a
Only other thing.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Only other thing I had, Tommy, is let's peek down south. Same thing. Not much new on the weather fronts. It's still a have and have nots. This is just past 48 hours. As you can see, Argentina and a little bit of southern Brazil caught rains. Central to northern Brazil, not much. And then looking out as the GFS, it's kind of the same story where a little bit moderate to wet in south, and they're looking at dry to very dry in the Mato Grosso region. Now that could change. I did see Mike said something about a cool front coming through, so we can see that. Let's not spend a lot of time on this because guess who really doesn't care about the weather is the trade right now. We got beans down 1, and a big reason, right? We're looking at this weather market. Why is that? We saw the Rosario Grain Exchange, right? This is Argentina's balance sheet estimates. They released it today. I think today. Cesar sent it to me, and so here's the different story we're dealing with just in Argentina alone. Last year, corn production, 36 million metric ton, soybean production, 20 million metric ton. This year, we're looking at more than double soybean production in Argentina, right? Estimates are at 50 million metric ton, corn at 56, a big jump, right? So just if we're looking at the bottom line, we are talking a whole lot more production coming out of Argentina, right? This is more because they had a drought last year. They had bad weather, right? Reduced production. This year, weather's looking pretty good, Tommy. We're doing it, and we're looking at some big production numbers for 23.
So our advice, and I think you would agree, that the farmers running around saying it's dry down there, they may be right today, but if it starts to rain, you're going to have big bushels in South America. The cash markets don't lie, folks. After you get done watching the show, check your local cash markets. Maybe you think the USDA fibs. The cash market always tells the truth. If you don't believe it, call a different person, see where you can sell your grain, and that is the price of the markets. If you need to get a hold of us, call us at 1-855-737-FARM. I promise I'll answer. You could email us at info@ATI ProMedia. For the folks listening on Spotify and Apple, if there's a chart or something we talked about, give us a call. With that, Connor B, I'm excited to do the show this week. I came in low energy.
Yep.
I'm going to go upstairs, get a cup of coffee with my
I don't
favorite
think you know what
croissant.
you don't know what low energy is, Tommy.
I do. Thanks, my friend.
Tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.